Hello everyone, I'm Shrishtee Bajpai and I work with Kalpavriksh. It's an environment action group based in Pune, India. My personal journey around feminist leadership began with my own interest in documenting how people are responding to multiple crises that we face today. How do people articulate these poly-crises and how they are actually trying to respond to these through their practices, everyday living and being, and particularly focusing on these processes here in India. So I help coordinate a platform, a process called Vikalp Sangam, alternative confluences, where we try to bring together various alternatives across India in a common platform to create spaces for exchanges and collaboration and also future envisioning. I also help coordinate and part of the core team of Global Tapestry of Alternatives, which is trying to do this kind of process more at a global level of creating solidarity networks among radical alternatives and how do we sustain these in the coming future. I think my turning point or learning spaces have been many, but most particularly, if I want to narrate an example, was when I was working with an indigenous community, the Gond Adivasis, as they are called here in India, in central India. And that was quite a different experience because while this community was resisting against a mining project and state repression in their territories, they also realized, and women particularly in that resistance movement was always at the forefront, but never really part of the decision making processes. And when these questions of injustice and others were raised, they said that we can't fight just one sphere of justice, whereas we actually are internally so unjust to particular sections of the society, like the marginalized caste, and also to the women. And so we have to really broaden our horizon of what justice is, and we also have to fight our inner demons and inner injustices. And I think that shaped my own understanding of what really justice is, what really compassion and what really care is, because women bring in very important questions that one justice is not important than the other, one repression is not important than the other, and when we bring in the questions of justice, it has to be justice for all, and we have to bring in the questions of the most marginalized in this discourse. So I think that shaped the way I saw several issues, and also how I now understand feminist leadership. And hence, feminist leadership to me looks like an issue about looking at various aspects of justice. It is also so much about care, empathy. It is about bringing in the holistic vision. It is also not just about reaching an end result, but it is also about what everyday processes we make to ensure that most people are included in decision making, the most marginalized are included, and they are given space to speak. So it's about dignity, it's about care, it's about empathy, it is also about accountability and transparency. It's also the separation, eliminating the separation of personal and political, because when it's about the question of women, family, care, child, all of that comes at the forefront. So I think it's a bunch of things for me when we talk about feminist leadership. Well, my only advice to young people who are doing this work on feminist leadership um, is to not copy paste models, develop your own models, uh, come up with newer ways of doing things. I guess all spaces demand newer ways of doing things. So rather than copy pasting of what possibly older white men or older men have done, we should create our own models, models that are based on dignity, compassion, empathy, care, and also speaking truth to power, because that's what the most important aspect is, and it is also one that demands courage. And how do we build not just courage in us but also people around us? So how do we offer listening spaces to the most quiet, to the most marginalized? So I think it is really about building those spaces of equality and spaces of listening and solidarity. Thank you.